If you like juicy, tender, and very, very tasty chicken, then this is the recipe you want to try.
Big thanks to Kamado Joe for sponsoring this episode.
Yes, chicken drumsticks or chicken lollipops, they are one of the most tastiest and festive ways to eat a chicken. But I got a recipe for you guys that really stands out. I'll bet it will make you drool. It involves drumsticks, but it also involves these jars. Now, I did chicken with jars before, but now I'm taking it to the next level. The beginning of this recipe is very, very easy. I'm just gonna season it with a little bit of Tweety barbecue seasoning. Tap it on, flip it over, season the other side. It's gonna be good already. Whenever Tweety seasoning goes on something, I start to smile. It's almost like an addiction. If you don't want to get addicted to really good flavors, don't buy the Tweety seasoning. I warn you, do not buy Tweety seasoning. The chicken drumsticks are ready to go on the barbecue. I'll be using the Kamado Joe Konnected Joe. I already preheated it to a temperature of 140 degrees Celsius, and now I'm going to add a chunk of smokewood. This is beechwood and it's my preferred flavor for barbecue. I'm going to add this to the charcoal, and since the Konnected Joe, the heat comes from below, I really got to stick it in to get that smoke going on from the beginning. Then I'm going to put in the heat deflectors and of course the grill grates. Now it's time to put on the chicken. I'm just going to leave them on this tray, and the tray has got a little rack so the airflow goes everywhere and they get fully engulfed in all the smoke flavors. And let it smoke for about 30 minutes or until you see that smoke color popping up on the chicken drumsticks. All right, then a half hour passed. And when a half hour passed, they look like this. Now at this point, they're nowhere near cooked yet, but it's very easy to turn these into lollipops. All I gotta do is just take off that bottom part, clean that bone up, and since it became a little hotter, it became a little bit more easy because I got a little tension on the meat. And look at that. So much easier to do this way than do it when it's all still raw. Again, just put the knife on, roll it, make sure you cut through the tendons. For presentation, you want to have them almost the same size. Now just pop the top off. So it's not only interesting to smoke the lollipops for flavor, but it's also very interesting to smoke them so they're easier to prepare. Now for the second phase, we're going to need a couple of jars. This is going to be really cool. I'm going to take a stick of butter, put it in here, and each jar gets half a stick of butter. And to that stick of butter, I'm going to add my favorite chili oil, 2 tablespoons. Don't worry, it's not going to be too hot, it's just going to be popping with flavor. Now, I used to make chili oil myself a lot, but this store-bought chili oil is just so good. It got one of those old ladies up in front, and old ladies, I don't know what, I don't know which marketing guy came up with this, but it's brilliant. I love the fact that an old lady made it, and it tastes freaking delicious. I'm not throwing away that jar because that jar I'll be using in the future for my recipes. Now the second thing that I'm going to add is a little bit of tomato paste. It's about a tablespoon worth per jar for a little bit more flavor and a little bit more color. There we go. I'm also going to add a teaspoon of the PITMASTERX Texas seasoning. Now you can find the recipe for the Texas seasoning on our website, or you can buy this in our web store, of course. Web shop. Now this is now going to go into the barbecue because we need to let that butter melt. And because I'm setting the temperature to around 180 degrees Celsius, that's probably only going to take around 10 minutes or so. There we go, open up a little bit. 10 minutes. That's not supposed to happen. I did an oopsie. I dropped one of the jars accidentally. I wanted to check and it slipped out of my hand. So now we have two, but good looking. And so just a little disclosure. If you drop a jar into the barbecue, there's going to be a lot of grease into the barbecue. So be careful. Just make sure you're safe. Okay, I'm going to mix this up. The butter melted. Having these things happen doesn't mean you need to stop cooking. I'm going to show you what happens. I'm just going to take the biggest one and stick it in there. Whoa. 2. Now I only have 2. All right, let's get this back on the barbecue. Be safe this time. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. I recommend that you don't drop it. For the record, last time. Okay, I'm going to close the lid. I'm just going to let this continue to cook at a temperature of 180 degrees Celsius. And my guess is maybe 15 minutes, then it will be fully cooked and we got some delicious chicken legs. The core temperature of the chicken reached 75 degrees Celsius and they're been just bubbling away in their butter bath with chili oil and it looks so freaking delicious. Since I only have 2 left, I'm just going to make sure that I give the other ones a try and let them soak in the butter bath as well. Just dip them in, let them soak in the oil. Let's get this one out too. Now again, of course, this recipe is not without hazard. This might just be the most dangerous chicken recipe in the world. But in the end, it's all worth the effort. I'm just going to swirl it around, pick up as much from the bottom as I can, and just place this on the plate. Look at that. That is a piece of art. If you could smell this right now, oh man. And the tomato paste does a lot. It really brings this fragrance to the chicken. It makes it almost like a really full, rich experience with the tomato. Like you're eating a salsa with your chicken. I haven't seen chicken lollipops this good in a long time. You can wrap them in bacon all you want. I think this is the money. Here we go. For all you chicken lovers out there, you must try this recipe because it is delicious. Of course, you have to invest a little bit in the butter and get some of the chili oil in, but seriously tasty. Of course, I've put the recipe on our website. Go check it out. See you guys in the next video. Cheers.